Welcome to the December 13, 2018 Cumberland County Commissioners Workshop meeting. Please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call this meeting to order at 9. Oh, I didn't see that. I'm sorry.
Good morning, folks. Now's the time set aside for a public hearing to discuss a revision to the county's Community Development Block Grant and Home Program budget. Kate.
Good morning. The county's considering a modification to its 2018 CDBG budget. The modification would create a new activity titled Planning and Admin Consolidated Plan Analysis of Impediments and funded at $19,000. These are excess program income that was generated this year that we weren't expecting and wasn't budgeted initially. And they are proposed to be used to prepare the county's 2020 through 2024 consolidated plan. You may remember this is a plan that's required every 5 years to be updated and submitted to HUD. The redevelopment authority as administrative agent for the county for these dollars had an RFP out. We've received responses and will be presenting a recommendation for preparation of the plan to our board of directors on December 20th. The plan is due to HUD in November 2019. The comment period runs through Sunday, December 16th, but at this time I'd be happy to accept any comments or questions from the board or from the public.
Any board members have any questions? Any staff members or members of the audience have any questions? Any board members have any comments? Any staff or members of the audience have any comments? Hearing none, public hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
I apologize.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order at 9 a.m. and at this time open up the floor to public comments. Okay, hearing none and seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 3. We do have a couple of employee recognitions this morning, so I'll begin by calling on Commissioner DiFilippo to present our first award to Fiona Williston for drug and alcohol for 20 years of service. I would also like to note that Fiona's parents are here today. They traveled here from England to stay with Fiona for the holidays, so welcome. So Fiona and Jack.
Sally Cameron is Fiona's supervisor.
Congratulations. Yes, good morning. We're here to celebrate Fiona's 20 years of service to the county. She was hired in October of 1998 as prevention program specialist in drug and alcohol and promoted in December 2002 as prevention program supervisor, human services manager. Fiona, on behalf of the county, here's your 20-year service award.
Thank you.
Have anything you'd like to say?
Oh.
Jack is doing it for you.
It's been a blur. So 20 years goes by really fast. So it's hard to believe, but it's been a really good experience working for the county.
I do have a few things to say.
That's fine, Jack.
I always do. I like to give a memory peg. So in 1998, Titanic won the Academy Award for Best Picture. The final episode of the TV series Seinfeld aired. The search engine Google was first founded. It seems like that's been around forever. And we were becoming increasingly worried about Y2K. The other thing that I did was I dug back in our records for when we hired Fiona, and I found the reference checks that we did on her, 3 different reference checks. And I wanted to share some of the comments from her former employees and colleagues. Number 1, she's reliable, outgoing, and pleasant. She works with minimal supervision. She'll do well in anything she does. The second reference check, she's cheerful, compassionate, and creative. She's a teacher at heart. One possible weakness, overcommitment. And the third one, she's a wonderful team player. Clients and coworkers have great admiration for her. She's loyal. Just wind her up and let her go. So I can honestly say after 20 years, those people were prophetic. They hit the nail right on the head. Those are all characteristics that we have seen in Fiona. People who do prevention work are called upon to fulfill a wide variety of roles. And Fiona has demonstrated incredible versatility. She has served as a classroom presenter for a full range of students from preschool through high school, a trainer for parents, for teachers, for workplace supervisors, a public policy advocate, a health data analyst, an op-ed columnist and a grant writer, a mentor for high school students, and a supervisor. I also feel compelled to point out that when you do prevention work, it doesn't fit neatly into an 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday schedule. To be responsive to the communities that we serve, Fiona and the staff that she supervises end up working a lot of evenings and some weekends as well. For example, we just had a youth advisory board event last night. So Fiona has been hardworking, dependable, creative, and compassionate. All those positive qualities that we heard about in those reference checks 20 years ago. She's an extremely positive presence for our agency. She's been a great representative for our agency and for the county overall. We're very lucky to have her.
I know, have to get closer.
Do this all in her bed.
I want to move just a little bit.
Do this.
Yeah, I was wondering.
If you got something, I guess, kind of angle it on that side.
That's good.
It's good. I mean, I got a couple pictures. There you go.
Congratulations.
You want to thank you so much.
Next, I'd like to call on Teresa Martin from Finance. She will be presented with her 20-year service award. So Teresa and Dana, please come forward.
Should we wait till they leave her?
Teresa Martin is also celebrating her 20 years of service with the county. She was hired in August 1998 as Department Clerk 3 in the finance area and was promoted in December 2004 as a purchasing agent. Teresa, congratulations. Present you with your 20 years service. What would you like to say?
I'd just like to say that it's been an honor to be here for 20 years. Thank you.
Was it Booger?
Yes,
Big blur. I created a 20-minute speech, and then I was told to make it 5 minutes. So, thinking back on what to say about Teresa, over the last 20 years, she has done so much for this county. It was hard to pick out what she has done that has been great, because every day, as a purchasing agent, she's impacting the county as a whole. One of the things that I think that she had a lot of impact on that was beneficial to the county, and we're still reaping the fruits of that, is the rewrite to the purchasing policy. We had a system that was hard to use, people were frustrated. She was part of the team, and she was a very integral part of that team to help change the purchasing policy, and it is still impacting us in a positive way. And that is just one thing that she's done. She impacts us throughout the county. She's helpful. I've had to call her in the evenings to go run around the different stores and buy call bells for the nursing home. And that's just one example. Where do you find 100 call bells? Nobody has them anymore. So there's a lot of different things that she's just done, stepped up to the plate. She doesn't complain about it. She gets it done. She thinks big picture and outside of the box, and she's really impacted this county in a positive way. And I'm not gonna be here for 20 years, but I hope you are. 20 more, I meant. So thank you for all your service.
Thank you.
We've been a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to agenda item 5, table and arrow will discuss any additional questions that you may have regarding admissions to the county's community development block grant budget table.
I don't have anything additional, I would just ask the online meeting for the recommended revisions to the 2020 CDBG budget.
Okay, you want to say Sandy?
Oh,
Okay,
sure.
We'll move on to agenda item 3. Tim Whalen was not able to make it today, so I asked Kate to fill in for him. So Kate will be discussing the Housing and Redevelopment Authority Quality Assurance Monitoring Agreement. Kate?
So the redevelopment authority provides property management services for Cumberland Senior Housing Associates at Beaumont's 10. And each year we get a grant from HUD for the supportive services coordinator that is staffed there. And part of that grant requires a quality assurance monitoring every year. And for the last number of years, we've contracted with the county, specifically the Department of Community Services, Aging and Community Services, to provide that quality assurance monitoring. I know Tim's spoken with Sandy, and they agreed to continue, Sandy Guerrero, and they continue to do that monitoring for the next 2 years. The county is compensated $1,540 per year for each year that they conduct that monitoring. So I would just ask that you authorize that agreement for a 2-year period.
Anyone have any questions for Kate? Thank you, Kate. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to agenda item 6, and it's regarding discussion of resolution 2018-32. Commissioners, this is merely a resolution authorizing the chairman to sign agreements and all supplement agreements, and authorizing the chief clerk to be authorized and directed to attest to the same. That was just adding my name to this resolution. So if you have any other additional questions regarding that agenda item? Thank you. Next, we'll move on to agenda item 7, and I'll call on Tammy Bender, who will be discussing 2 budget resolutions as follows.
Sandy, if you could just go back for a second?
Yes.
Does this mean that Gary and I no longer need to sign anything?
Correct.
Correct.
Oh, okay, that's good. I heard that.
I'm sorry, Tam. Well, you can discuss the 2 budget resolutions as follows. Agenda item 7, budget resolution 2018-31, and agenda item 8, budget resolution 2018-33.
The first one is for hotel tax, increasing revenue and expenditures by $440,000. It's for estimated hotel tax collections for the remainder of the year. There's no impact to the general fund. The second one, 2019, is drug and alcohol, is increasing revenue and expenses by $135,174. It's additional funding that's passing through Department of Drug and Alcohol programs. There's $20,000 of additional opioid state targeted grants for prevention services, and $115,174. It's additional opioid state grant for funding treatment services. There's no impact to the general fund.
Any questions for Tam?
I just have a quick one. Sandy, the hotel tax, you said increasing revenues and expenses, $440,000. So that's, comes into the county. The expenses, I'm assuming, are
where we reallocate the money
Money
to
back out to,
the Cumberland Economic Development Corporation.
correct.
Okay.
And they're coming in a little higher than what we had budgeted.
Okay. But we don't have any internal expenses associated with that.
No, we keep a 2% annual fee.
Okay.
Any additional questions?
Good.
Thank you, Tim. Next, we'll move on to agenda item 9, contracts and grants. Agenda items 9, Roman numeral 1, A and B are existing contracts, contract extensions are addendums with no additional cost or increase in the county. They include the following departments: 2 agreements for children and youth, and 1 agreement for human resources. Commissioners, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding any of the above-mentioned agreements? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 9, Roman numeral 2, which consists of new contracts, vendors, services, grants, and contracts with increases and decreases to the county. We begin with calling on Jamie to discuss 2 agreements for children and youth. Jamie?
Morning, Commissioners. The first one for Diversified Treatment Alternative Centers is a new vendor that we're going to be using. They specialize in working with sexual offenders. They take both dependent and delinquent children, so probation and children and youth will be able to use them. They have RTF programs, which actually are less than most of our normal group home providers. And then they have step-down programs from their residential treatment programs to specialized foster care and CRR host home. All of their programs are within normal limits of what our other white providers have. The second contract is for our Xerox copier. We are changing vendors, so this is why we need a new lease agreement. We are replacing one of our current copiers, and we are adding a new copier with our expansion of our office to the 3rd floor. The lease is a little more than what we had before, however, it's an all-inclusive lease, so we don't have to pay for overages or maintenance fees, or stables or any of the extra stuff, so it's all inclusive. So although it is a little bit more expensive, I think it'll work out in the long run.
Jamie, how much is that lease?
The lease is it's 4 years. The total per copier is $14,468.16. $2,893.64 will be the county share. The rest will be state.
Commissioners, do you have any other additional
What
questions?
was the previous cost of the lease, the previous lease?
I don't have that, but I can get that to you.
You said a little bit more, like how much?
That I don't have. I will have Lisa or myself can email that information to
You
you.
could send that, I
Yep.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Any additional questions? Thank you. Next, we move on to agenda item B and call on Melissa to discuss the agreements for Claremont Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. Melissa?
Good morning. The first one is an addendum to Dr. Gallus's contract. Dr. Gallus is our medical director. He had requested reimbursement of some expenses when he went to the symposium, the hotel, the fee for the symposium, and the travel expenses. And instead of doing that, we are asking that we do this addendum to increase his annual stipend that he receives. We didn't want to give the impression of reimbursing him as treating him almost like an employee. So we're asking that we give him an increase to his stipend of $780 annually, increase, which would bring his annual stipend to $35,700 or $2,975 a month. It's a $65 a month increase.
So does he require, is he going to be going to conference every year then?
He is, but now it'll be at his expense. So whatever he does, if he goes to 1 or 2 conferences, and we can
So,
discuss this.
But would he have, I guess my question is, could he simply not go to conference and pocket the difference? Is that his choice or?
He could. I don't see him doing
We don't
that, but he
necessarily-
certainly could.
Okay, but we don't have a requirement for attendance of that. as
I
part
did
of
not
it.
put anything like that in here.
I don't know if it's necessary, I just want to be clear on that.
He's pretty involved, and so
The symposium that he attended, he's being reimbursed for, was it related to his work?
Absolutely.
At our nursing home?
yes.
Thank you.
The
second one is for Tri-State Shredding. We had had a contract with Shred It for the last several years. They would not budge on wording to the contract, so Keith would not allow the contract to go through. So I was able to work with Tri-State Shredding and actually got a reduction in our annual costs. We were paying $55.80 with Shred It, and this will go down to about $2,500 annually, which is over a $3,000 savings on an annual basis. And it's a company that's right in Carlisle.
Any questions? Thank you. Next, I'd like to move on to agenda item C, and call on Kirk Stoner, who is joining us video teleconferencing to discuss the liquid fuel finance agreement, followed by agenda item E, discussion of the FEMA 2017 pre-disaster mitigation grant and Silver Springs Township Land Partnership Agreement. Kirk?
Okay, good morning from Allen Road. Our first agreement was with HRG. This is the contract for HRG to serve as the county bridge engineer from the period of 2019 through 2023. Value of the contract's a little over $1 million. It's 80% reimbursable from the state, leaving us a 20% share, which is around $202,000. Again, it's a 5-year agreement that we work with PennDOT on. This is coming back and finalizing the contract with HRG for those services.
Any questions for Kirk on that? Okay, Kirk, you can move on to agenda item E.
Sure. The first one there is our grant with FEMA for our pre-disaster mitigation grant. This is to complete our hazard mitigation plan update that's currently underway. The value of the grant is $37,500. We are matching that with staff in-kind services from the planning department and public safety, so there's no impact to the general fund on this grant.
Any questions? Okay, Kirk, you can move on to the next one.
Okay, the last one here is Silver Spring Township. This is one of our land partnerships grants. It's for the Stony Ridge Top Lot, and it's for $23,000 for playground equipment.
Any questions, Commissioner? Thank you, Kirk.
Thanks, Kurt.
Yep.
Next, I'd like to call on Sue, who will be discussing the MHIDD agreement for intellectual and developmental disabilities for fiscal year 2018-19. Sue?
Yes, good morning. This contract is for independent monitoring. Vision for Equality is a new provider this year because it still gave us some notice last year. So this contract is going to be for $35,248, and again, it's all state funds.
Any questions for Sue? Moving on to agenda item F, and call on Claudia Gardner, who is joining us video teleconferencing to discuss the 2 public safety agreements. Claudia?
Good morning, how is everybody?
Good. How are you?
Good. All right, so the first item that we have is a calendar year 19 contract with B. Moyer Radio Communications. That is for the extended warranty that is only for the eligible equipment for the county departments. So that is our department, the sheriff's office, the coroner, district attorney, and the prison. So that is calendar year 19. It is for $10,512, and that is for the portables and mobiles that are eligible for extended warranty.
Any questions on that?
Any questions on that one?
No, go ahead, Claudia.
Okay, the second one is Power DMS, which is a software solution. It's web-based application that's going to allow us to store, update, and distribute critical training, policy, and documents. Specifically, our staff will be able to easily access and read electronically and sign policies, taking continuing education courses, and we can develop associated tests, and they can take them there, and it will store their certificates all in one place. All the while, it is a tracker user, tracking user dates, times, and renewal reminders. It'll streamline basically 3 different systems utilized that are manual now, utilized by several staff in multiple places that they're updated. So it's definitely going to streamline processes for many of our staff and the users. So this software system is currently used by Lower Island Township Police Department and Carlisle Police Department with good reviews. You had approved for us to proceed with this capital project on November 1st, and nothing has changed as far as pricing since then. It's a 3-year agreement with an initial expense of $3,800 and then annually $4,423.80. So it's a 3-year agreement, grand total $17,072.
Any questions, commissioners? Thank you, Claudia.
All right, have a good day.
You too. Next, I'd like to call on John Lobb, who is joining us video teleconferencing to discuss the request to advertise for bid proposals for grass mowing and trimming for Cumberland County properties. John?
Good morning, Commissioners. The county contract for mowing of county-owned properties is coming to an end in 2019. This is a request to advertise for bid proposals for the mowing for the next 5 years.
Any questions for John? Thank you, John. Next, I'd like to call on Commissioner Hertzler, who will be discussing the reappointment recommendations to the Aging Advisory Board. Commissioner Hertzler?
Okay, thanks, Sandy. These folks have all had dedicated their time to serve, and they're all regular attendees. So on Monday, I'll be recommending their reappointment to continue to serve on the Aging Advisory Board.
Thank you, Commissioner Hertzler. Next, Commissioner Eichelberger will discuss the appointment recommendation to the Cumberland Area Economic Development Corporation Board. Commissioner Eichelberger?
Right, just briefly, we had, you're all aware, we had the vacancy on the board in the chairman's spot, and the vice chair, Lonnie Garza, has agreed to step up and fill that position through the remainder of the term. The reorganization for that board, of course, is February when we initiate that. So, given all that's going on with Katie right now, that should not remain vacant. So, Lonnie's willing to step up in that interim period. We need to formalize that through a vote. So, we could take action on that today, and I think what the board would prefer, board of directors would prefer that we get that, given that we have a lot going on. No objection. And I'll make a motion that we approve Lon's appointment.
A second?
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just wanted to ask, so Lonnie's moving from vice chair to chair. Is there going to be an interim vice chair? Or?
She will serve in both roles.
Okay.
Within 3 months.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks for handling that.
Thank you, Commissioner Eichelberger. Agenda item number 13 has been previously discussed by Kate, so we'll move on to the Commissioner's liaison report and begin with Steve Leva.
Thanks, Sandy. I have one report, and that's for the Western Cumberland Council of Governments. A few items here. Several townships out in the western part of the county use advanced trash removal services. And there's been incidents of poor service, trash not being picked up, etc. The solicitor has sent them a letter pretty much advising them of our discontent, and improvement has been seen so far. We'll see how that goes. They also had an incident, several townships, with some line painting, an outfit called the Angelo Brothers. Again, work wasn't being done. One case, they had center lines that were 18 inches off center. And the solicitor sent a letter advising these folks to get their act together.
They're using the metric system.
They're using some system, but it ain't working. Some additional notes here, I'm sorry. Where is it? Sam, can we come back to me?
Sure.
And I will find my report.
Absolutely. Next, we'll move on to Commissioner Hartsburg.
Okay, thanks, Sandy. I attended last Thursday's meeting of the statewide 911 advisory board at Pima for the last quarterly meeting of the year. The $1.65 per month consumer 911 public safety fee on each communication device, as authorized by Act 12 of 2015, is now generating an average of $316.2 million per year, roughly $125 million more each year than what was generated by the previous outdated fee structure that had not kept up with inflation for 25 years. As we're aware, the vast majority of the revenue generated by this fee is redistributed directly back to the counties for the operations of their 911 public safety answering points to help defray the county property tax costs for these critical operations. And as we've heard from our finance people, this funding here in Cumberland County has helped tremendously with the cost of our 911 operations. Act 12 of 2015, however, is about to sunset in June of the coming year, and it will be up to our state lawmakers to reauthorize the law, or that additional and critically needed funding will disappear. At our meeting, a representative or the chair of the House Veterans Affairs and Emergency Preparedness Committee indicated, that's the committee that has jurisdiction over the issue, that a reauthorization bill will be the first bill his committee hopes to consider in the new year. The goal would be to have this legislation acted upon before it gets caught up in the anticipated debate on the state budget for fiscal 2019-20. We'll see. My current term, my second on the 911 advisory board, is up. CCAP, as I understand, has recommended to the governor that I be reappointed to represent Pennsylvania's third and fourth class counties for a third term in the interest of continuity and with respect to the critical importance of the year ahead. However, since the terms of the 911 board are 2 years in length, and since I will be concluding my final year as a commissioner in 2019, the governor may well opt to appoint a commissioner who would be in the position to complete the full term. And I'm good no matter what. It's been my privilege to help guide the implementation of Act 12 of 2015 and also to be a part of the deliberation and discussion of both achieving greater efficiencies in the delivery of our 911 public safety emergency response system in Pennsylvania, while I'm preparing for the deployment of what's dubbed Next Generation 911 to better serve our public here in Cumberland County and across Pennsylvania. The county's Conservation District Board met Tuesday morning and before the meeting enjoyed a holiday breakfast. I was pleased to be joined by our board chairman, Commissioner DiFilippo, as we thank the Conservation District for the donation of the beautiful holiday tree that now graces our lobby here in the courthouse. There was a discussion regarding an administrative hearing that was conducted with developers of Penn Commerce Warehouse, the project that's underway in Penn Township with respect to violations of runoff onto adjoining properties and potential threat that posed to dilution of the Yellow Breeches Creek following land disturbance at the site. A $3,500 fine is being assessed. The Conservation District, meanwhile, has been awarded a total of $180,000 in grants for water quality improvement projects in our county in proximity to the Sunoco Mariner 2 pipeline project. The grants are derived from fines assessed by DEP against Sunoco pipeline for environmental violations associated with their project. And finally, from the Conservation District's fundraising initiatives, their tree seedling sale and also the annual golf outing, the district board authorized $5,000 for its annual scholarship program for Cumberland County students engaged in the field of conservation and natural resources. The $5,000 is more than double the amount of money that was made available for scholarships in the current year. The county's Agricultural Land Preservation Board met yesterday morning. All but one of the 2017 farms have now settled. And in fact, one of the 12 farms on the 2018 program list has settled. Hopefully before 2019 is out, our county will be bumping close to the milestone of having preserved in perpetuity 20,000 acres of fertile farm acreage for the generations that follow. There was a discussion of our general fund distribution for the 2019 program year, and the board is expected to join with staff in January in participating in a discussion and trying to come up with a process to assist in providing some clarity for future allocations and hopefully to ensure that this priority of the county no longer ends up being the caboose in our budget deliberations. Finally, as warehouse development mania appears to continue unabated in our county, the development of the Penn Commerce project in Penn Township is apparently causing harm to a nearby preserved farm owned by a gentleman by the name of Vic Barrick. Apparently, approximately 10 acres of Mr. Barrick's farm is now in jeopardy because of significant stormwater impact. And from what we were told by Township Supervisor Gary Martin, the developer apparently would like to fix the problem, but that state law and/or state regulation dealing with stormwater easements are standing in the way of a fix. And I would just like to ask if my colleagues would agree, I'd like to ask our solicitor, and Jen's here in place of Heath today, but I asked our solicitor to maybe touch base with Stephanie Williams and also Rob Fry, who's the solicitor for the Farmland Preservation Board, to see whether we might be able to get to the bottom of this, and if appropriate, consider drafting a communication to our state regulators and our state lawmakers to see if we can help remedy this situation. Last night I attended with Commissioner DeFilippo and Commissioner Eichelberger the holiday party of the Cumberland Economic Development Corporation, and then I also went over to Dickinson College to take a look at the voting machines that were on display. And I saw a couple over there that looked pretty good. A lot of people came up to me with their suggestions of the kind of voting systems that we should have. I had a microphone placed in front of my face by the reporter from WITF Public Radio, so relative to my feelings about this. And in any event, I did have an opportunity to talk to the Secretary of State, Secretary Perez, I believe. I think he said he knows you.
Oh, Torres.
I'm sorry. And also the Commissioner of Elections, Jonathan Marks, and I told both of them as I was leaving, now it's up to you to get the money for us. So that's where we are. But it was interesting systems. One, you could just fill out the bubbles and put it into a scanner, which is Back to the Future as far as I'm concerned. Or you can use a computer screen, choose who you want to vote for, and then on the one system, it would produce a paper ballot that you'd never touch, that would be deposited in, as part of the machine. Or you can print it out to make sure that's who you voted for, and then put it back in the machine and your vote is cast and such. Again, we understand that our current system is we've not had any trouble with it. machines themselves cannot be hacked by anybody because they've never hooked up to the internet. Neither is the server that collects the code totals. But we have this mandate that's pending. So my comment to the reporter was I have mixed feelings about this, especially if the state doesn't provide funding. And I suggested that if the legislature doesn't provide us with funding, they should pass a law to, essentially forgive us from this mandate. So we'll see how all that plays out. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Herzog. Before we move on to Commissioner Eichelberger, Commissioner Eby, you guys want to finish?
Yeah, we first talked about trash removal issues and some nearsighted line painters. Next up on the report. Shippensburg Borough is looking for a new borough manager in case anyone knows of anyone. Most of the townships that we reported.
Something for you to do.
Yeah. Many of the Western Region townships announced that their budgets have been approved with no tax increase. Steve Old announced that in Shippensburg Township they had one of the smoothest homecomings ever. Very few problems. On a more important note, there's going to be a public hearing sometime before the end of March regarding the new casino located in that area. Jim, as you had mentioned, there was also mention about Vic Barrett's farm being damaged by runoff from the apparent runoff from the construction of warehouses. And I think one of the issues is we can't put a stormwater easement on a preserved farm. That might be something that needs to be looked at. West Pennsboro also having the same issue with another warehouse project that's affecting one of the Maine's farms on a flat road. Another item, Big Spring School District usually sends a representative. They were there. Mount Rock Elementary School will be totally renovated by next summer. The school district is enjoying some lower health insurance premiums. And there was a guest speaker there, a lady from Cumberland Valley Rising, her name's Anna Dravis, who had no complaints at all about our local or state police, but her message was that in general, police are not educated well enough to deal with immigrants. Immigrants are afraid of our police. She mentioned that our police should not be questioning these immigrants, asking them for IDs, etc. Couldn't quite follow her line of reasoning, but as with everyone else, she has a right to speak. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next, we'll move on to Commissioner Eichelberger.
Okay, just briefly, I will say, I've been around for long enough that I can remember when December was kind of quiet after the budget was passed. The commissioners just didn't get a lot out of the time survey exchange. It's a reflection of what's going on in our county and the quality of our board. I think most of the meetings I attended in the last 2 weeks, you folks have all been part of, one or two exceptions. And I did get an update on a request from Kirk Stoner regarding any relevant things going on at planning department. He did ask me to remind you that Jeff Kelly's retirement is January 18th. I'm sure there's going to be, he didn't give me specifics on it, but I'm sure there's something. Just been with us for a long time. He's been a great asset to this county. And one of our fine ambassadors in the planning department. So I'm sure I'll have details to pass along to you for whatever. And we frankly should do something a little nice for him. So hopefully he's not watching this. I know he's not. So Kirk mentioned also they're finishing up the right-of-way work for Wolf Bridge and the Congo Bridge, and everything's proceeding on schedule for next year initiation of construction. So that's certainly good news. He said he has a meeting today, a multilateral meeting, I should say, with CADIC, the Housing and Redevelopment Authority, and Shippensburg I guess that's the university, to discuss funding for that housing affordability initiative that he's discussed with us. So that'll be getting started sometime early in 19. So
The GHAR was involved with that, right?
I do not know. He didn't mention them. I don't know if they were involved in that. I think we were getting data from them.
Yes, that's it.
I don't know if they have a formal role in the process. So that's all I have there. I did want to mention, though, Executive Committee of CADIC met earlier this week. I sent both of you an email update, simply because of some of the urgency of some of those items, but in brief, the appointment of Lonnie, which we undertook today, was one of the major points. Lonnie's already initiated the Board of Professional Development Committee. A lingering issue has been our board development and staffing the board, and a lot of ideas that were kicked around in the past have not been implemented. And Lonnie put a committee together, and our past chairman, Doug Calvert, is chairing that. So, and Doug's a real chairman too, so we'll have some action on that. So she's really hit the ground running, as they say, on finding some solutions to some of our challenges internally. The CEO search continues. I think you've both been invited to attend the first interview later today. That would be wonderful if you could be there. Jim mentioned the holiday mixer last night. I know a lot of people think these holiday mixers are just parties, but they're very important opportunities for us to interact with folks who are clients, potential clients of CADIC and just our general business community, employers. And I was there for most of it. It was a great opportunity. And several staff told me that they continue to be really pleased to see all three commissioners there as part of that. They certainly recognize how important it is, and obviously builds their image in the community as well. The commissioners see it as important enough. We didn't always have that. So it was
Nice turnout, too.
It was, and they moved into a bigger venue simply because it had become so crowded in recent years. But I thought it was a marvelous event. I got to talk to a lot of people who are very valuable people in our business and nonprofit communities here who interact with CADIC, interact with the county in numerous ways. So it was a valuable opportunity, and our presence collectively was greatly appreciated. So I think that's everything I have. That is everything I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Eichelberger. Next, I would like to report that executive sessions were held on the following dates in 2018. December 3rd at 2:40 p.m. and December 4th at 2 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. regarding personnel issues. December 3rd at 2:35 p.m. regarding leased property. I would also like